Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and the inhabitants of Maratua Island in Indonesia are collecting the Thespesia populnea flowers for the crazy white man. Why are they doing this? Most of them are just bedazzled. Bunga ini dimakan? Orang Bajau tidak makan. Oh, orang boleh makan. Curious about what the crazy white man is gonna do. They give me dishes, they give me water, they help me collect the flowers, and most important of all, they give me some itu sambal atau sos chili? Sos chili, tidak sambal. And gave me some chili sauce. Sos apa? Sos tomato? Ini pedas. Sos tomato chili. Okay, for the locals, this is not spicy. Maratua Island has a well-established tourist infrastructure, so they're used to crazy white people, also to crazy Chinese people, also of course to crazy city people from Indonesia. The island is not as unexplored as it was a couple decades ago, but folks, no matter how many crazy tourists you've dealt with, I can still top that. But what are those flowers the crazy white man wants to eat here? And why? What those people possibly don't know is that those things have been crucial, not just important, but crucial, basically the base for much of their culture for thousands of years. Here is one Thespesia populnea tree called the Indian tulip tree, or the Pacific Rosewood. And by the way, usually it doesn't grow as trees. Usually it grows more like this one here in the background, like a multi-stemmed low shrub in coastal areas. We are not sure where this thing really originated and where it is native to. And this is an important part of its story and of its cultural importance. It's one of those like super important tree without which human history would have happened in a totally different way. The Austronesian people who come from Taiwan 5,000 years ago found it probably somewhere in Southeast Asia. We don't know where it's native to. Nowadays it grows around Africa, in northern Australia, basically around the Indian Ocean, around the Pacific Ocean, all the way to Mexico and Peru. And we are pretty sure it's invasive in Florida and Brazil and not native. Another beautiful low tree over there. As you can see, it is very resistant to salt water. Many trees here grow close to the sea. We are on an exposed atoll. We are not in a mangrove environment, but on exposed atoll with sandy beaches. And yeah, from all those trees surviving in those exposed conditions, this one is surviving in the most exposed conditions. So where is it native to? Well, the funny thing is that in Polynesia, it wasn't found prior to the Austronesian expansion. We haven't found old seeds in the archaeological or dendrological record. So people spread it there. And when we say Polynesia, well, to most of us maybe it doesn't mean anything, but we are talking about a lot of islands spread around millions of square kilometers. The Austronesians spread this thing. It is considered one of the canoe plants which they took on their canoes and spread it basically around the world, because those Austronesians here 5,000 years ago, they started out from Taiwan, and then they conquered and settled basically everything from East Africa, all of the Indian Ocean, basically most of the Pacific Ocean, all the way to Hawaii, Australia, all of the Southeast Asia, Polynesia, probably all the way to the east coast of South America. And how did they do this? How did a Stone Age culture 5,000 years ago conquer basically half of the world? Europeans did the same 4,500 years later when they developed new technology enabling them to do this. But those people developed this technology 4,500 years before Europeans. What technology am I talking about? Well, look at the sea. The coast of Kalimantan is just 50-60 kilometers ahead, but you cannot see it. How did those people traverse the sea with Stone Age technology? I mean, they traversed spaces between islands, sometimes more than 1,000 kilometers. How do you do this with basically, tools made of rocks and nothing else? Well, introducing the Pacific Rosewood. This thing, well, nowadays it has countless uses. It has cultural and religious uses on many Pacific islands. The wood, I mean Pacific Rosewood. Okay, everybody is waiting for the crazy white man to start his dinner. The Pacific Rosewood also tells you the name. This is a highly prized wood, used for thousands of different things, many of which have cultural or religious or historic significance. Of course, for me, the most interesting part is the edibility. Flowers, young fruits, young leaves and young twigs are edible. Some of them raw, some are cooked as a vegetable. There are so many other uses, but the most important one is this thing. This thing not just helped those people conquer half of the globe, it made it possible in the first place. Well, the Europeans, pretty much everybody knows the iconic ships of the European explorers and conquerors from the early modern period. But I bet every one of you has also seen those iconic pictures of those canoes hollowed out from a single tree trunk. And next to them you have those outliers, those outriggers. What do you call them? Yeah, no outliers, but outriggers. Well, what's an outrigger? Basically, if you have a canoe made of one single tree, yeah, it can be quite safe going along a jungle river, but once you enter the open sea, you turn over, especially if you go for thousands and kilometers and endure storms and weeks of travel in those tiny canoes. So how do you prevent this single tree trunk from tipping over? I mean, look at them. Those tree trunks, they're just tumbling around. Well, what about, hear me out, we take a second thinner tree trunk and tie it to the canoe. How to tie it to the canoe? Right next to it, like those? No. We take two even thinner trunks and join the canoe, the hollowed out trunk and the other trunk at a distance of maybe a meter or two. So creating basically a rectangular frame which is so stable that you can use it to conquer half the world with it. Basically those people just failed where there was no sea or the sea was too cold. So basically they would take a canoe, a hollowed out trunk, they would take another trunk, tie them together with two other strings. Well, let me demonstrate it to you. Imagine this is a hollowed out trunk. This is my canoe, which rolls around. Next to it I put another trunk. I connect them both with two thinner pieces. Tie everything with bark and conquer half the world with this thing. Yeah, but if it's so easy, then why didn't everybody do it? Well, because the Austronesians had those things here. This peculiar tree. They didn't make their canoes from it. No, far from it. They made the second trunk from it because this wood is incredibly light and water resistant. So it is light enough that it doesn't get submerged in water, but it's still heavy enough that it doesn't get lifted into the air, even by heavy waves. This way, the unstable hollow tree trunk canoe becomes a world-conquering outrigger boat. Yeah, without the specific properties of this timber, it would have been difficult. But how do you tie all those things together? Yeah, the tropics have a lot of vines, but not all of them are good for shipbuilding. Nope. You take the bark of this specific tree and tie this frame, which helps you conquer, yeah, half of the globe, basically. Those people conquered half of the globe 5,000 years ago. A feat so incredible that it was only copied 4,500 years later by the Europeans. Nobody before that could basically discover and conquer such a huge area. Wonderful tree, and yeah, that's why they introduced it to Polynesia, to other parts, probably to Hawaii, to the Easter Island, maybe to the east coast of South America, and to the east and west coast of Africa. Okay, by now, most people have left. They think the crazy white man is just talking crazy stuff, but now the crazy white man is gonna have dinner. Look at those beautiful flowers. I mean, it's not surprising that this is also a popular ornamental. The flowers, by the way, change color when they are young and fresh. Yeah, those were all pale yellow in the morning, and by now they are getting kind of a orangish brown. They can even get quite brown, and sometimes you can get a lot of different colors on the same tree at the same time. But now, since they taste a little bit on the bland side, and since people here eat everything with sambal, and since I'm kind of used to it, well, this is not sambal. They explained to me it's chili sauce, but it doesn't matter. Down it goes anyways. A sweet and slightly hot chili sauce. The sweetness doesn't fit the rest of it so much. Probably a salty sambal or a sour one will chop in better. But yeah, it's good. The locals, well, they already saw me eating before I started filming, so it's not so new for them, but still, they are watching. They are watching. Such a beautiful plant and edible too. The white man is eating, the locals are gathering. Not much happens on this island, except when some crazy tourist comes along. And today, I guess, is a particularly eventful evening. Almost done. So folks, tell me what you think about Thespesia populnea and its consumption and its role of spreading Austronesian culture to Asia, Africa, Australia, and even to America and across the Pacific. Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful island with the wonderful people here at Maratua. And of course, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.